Bueno, pensábamos de qué manera poder cerrar este ciclo de Comunidad Cobre y la verdad que personalmente desde el primer capítulo siempre tuve mucho interés de conocer el IROC y tengo la fortuna de que ni más ni menos que el número uno de Anglo American en Chile, Aaron Puna, me ha permitido conocerlo y presentármelo y eso es parte de lo que hemos visto recién. Aaron, un gusto y muchas gracias por permitirme a mí y a través mío, a la gente que nos está viendo, conocer este lugar que es tan fascinante, tan tecnológico, tan moderno además.
No, look, we really appreciate sharing what we've created. I think it's something fantastic that gives a strong insight into the direction we'll take the business in the future and what we see for Chile.
Ya llevas 2 años acá en Chile, me gustaría conocer cuál es el balance de estos 2 años, cómo te has sentido acá en Chile en uno de los escenarios a nivel global más importantes de la minería.
It's been interesting, very interesting. It's definitely a lot different to what I expected. When my wife and I were thinking of moving to Chile, we didn't expect anything that's unfolded in the last 2 years. So I think from a personal perspective, it's been challenging. It's allowed me to spend a lot more time with my family, which is a big positive. Prior to Chile, I was traveling a lot. But now with kids, it's been a lot of time at home with the pandemic. And then, of course, learning the culture of Chile and the challenges of Chile. I have a strong affinity with Chile. My family does. My kids speak a lot more Spanish than me, which is fantastic. And we want them to continue doing that. So it's been an interesting 2 years, without a doubt. Challenging, but with challenges comes opportunities.
Nosotros en Comunidad Cobre hemos mencionado mucho este propósito, ¿no?, de reimaginar la minería para mejorar la vida de las personas. ¿Esto qué significa para ti, esto de reimaginar la minería? ¿Y cómo trabajan para alcanzar y hacer real este propósito que tiene Anglo American?
When I think about our purpose, I think about what's my legacy? What can I do while I'm in this role, in this industry, working for Anglo American? What am I going to leave for my kids, for my grandkids, for the people that I work with today, tomorrow, and then further into the future? So the purpose gives us a lot of scope, a lot of opportunity. There's so many different ways that I think mining can positively impact society. We have to be different, of course. I think mining of the past has been somewhat disconnected from society, and I think now we're moving in a lot better direction. In the future, there will be complete harmony.
En Comunidad Cobre hemos abordado con absoluta libertad la invitación que le hacemos siempre a la gente a que puedan enviar sus preguntas. Y uno de los capítulos que más consultas dejó fue cuando hablamos del proyecto de los bronces integrados, este proyecto que ha sido criticado por grupos ambientalistas. ¿Ve que eso pueda persistir eventualmente, esta crítica de sectores ambientalistas que podrían llegar a lanzar por la borda, a votar el proyecto?
I think what we have to be mindful of is the project that we've developed is a project that aligns with our purpose. A mining process that will be a first in Chile. But it's a process that we're absolutely certain will have no negative impact on the glaciers, on the surface. So ultimately, if it's approved, I think it would be fantastic for us as a business, obviously, but it would be fantastic for Chile in that we would be exposing a new way of mining that leads to a future where ultimately we minimize the footprint of mining. We actually become less and less invasive, we become less obvious. And I think that's important for the future because that's what we expect of ourselves. That's what society expects of us. So I think there's a positive, obviously. But at the same time, if the authorities and the people that assess the application and the process itself say, look, we don't believe that this is the right thing to do, then obviously we have to respect the decision, first and foremost, and we have to learn from it as an industry, and we have to keep moving as to how do we balance finally what people perceive to be the impacts, how do we manage the real impacts, and then how do we as an industry move that forward so that we can actually work together to meet all of our needs.
Hablemos también de otro gran tema, que es el tema de la sequía. La zona central de nuestro país, bueno, Chile entero, pero la zona central en particular, atraviesa una prolongada sequía. Me refiero a la zona central porque es donde están las operaciones de Anglo American. ¿Qué han pensado ustedes respecto al agua y qué están haciendo al respecto hoy día para minimizar el impacto?
I think it's a big problem globally, but let's focus on Chile. We know for a fact the drought has continued, probably at levels that we never expected. Are we doing things differently? Yes, absolutely. Right now we recycle 80% of our water. We've reduced our freshwater intake by about 50%. We're utilising a lot more what we call grey water, which is ultimately discharged from the cities. And longer term, we've got plans for desalination water, and we'll work through that to release fresh water for what it should be used for, human consumption.
A propósito de desafíos, otro tema relevante es la calidad del aire. ¿Qué están haciendo ustedes en Anglo American actualmente para reducir las emisiones?
We, as a global company, have committed to carbon neutrality by 2040, with 8 assets in the group portfolio being carbon neutral by 2030. For us in Chile, I think we have a fantastic opportunity to be one of those 8 assets. However, hydrogen is going to be critical. We're developing the world's first large mining truck in South Africa now. We're at the back end of the development, so we're all eagerly anticipating that will be successful. If that is, it's a real opportunity for us to enter the hydrogen market in Chile. It aligns with what the government's trying to do, green hydrogen, of course, but it starts to grow the infrastructure that we need as a society in Chile to really leverage what those opportunities are. We've engaged in electromobility. We've gone to 100% clean energy earlier this year, all of our assets in Chile. But we're also saying, what happens when we fix that? There's still a number of different areas that we have to move. So developing things like we did earlier this year with the first green hydrogen molecule in Chile. It was a small forklift, acknowledged that it was small, but it was a very important step. It showed that people in Chile, when challenged with the right challenges, it was our team, our Chile team, that developed the forklift. It was our Chile team that developed the process by which we could produce hydrogen. And we proved to ourselves at a small scale that it's something we can completely achieve here.
Actualmente Chile vive una especie de incertidumbre política en términos del desarrollo de una nueva constitución. Hay un proyecto de ley de royalty a la industria minera que ha sido cuestionado también por agentes de la industria. Está también el desafío de elegir un nuevo presidente y lo que eso podría llegar a implicar. Para Anglo American, ¿sigue siendo atractivo Chile en términos de un lugar para invertir y para proyectar sus negocios, o esa respuesta dependerá de los sucesos a futuro?
We're committed to Chile and we understand the challenges. We believe there's ways in which the mining industry can assist with the challenges. But we've got to be very careful in balancing that. We don't want to make, or we don't want to miss the opportunity to express that if it was to go too far, then investment in Chile becomes difficult. We definitely don't want that. As Anglo American, we like Chile. We have great assets in Chile. We have great people in Chile. We see a great future for Chile. But ultimately, it has to come at the right balance. So with all of the challenges, at this point, no interest in slowing development.
Hablábamos hace algunos momentos del proyecto integrado Los Bronces, que ha sido recibido con cuestionamientos por parte de algunos agentes sociales, pero hay otra iniciativa que ha sido recibida con mucha alegría, muchas veces por parte de los mismos agentes que cuestionaban otras instancias, que es el que Anglo American apoye la creación de un parque en terrenos que le pertenecen. ¿Por qué se toma esa decisión y cómo nace esa determinación?
It's a large piece of land that I guess we could have maintained our ownership, and we could have looked at exploration, and we could have said in 30 years, in 50 years, maybe technology's advanced, maybe costs are different and we can extract something from there. But the reality is we had to make the decision today. And what's the right decision? The right decision was to say, this is the future that we see. It is going to be a relationship built on harmony and trust. And I think that's indicative of us saying, this is what we see in the future. If we can't see value and we can't see a stakeholder relationship that is mutually positive, then we should do something with it that benefits everyone. And I think it goes without saying, here in Chile, the Cordillera is absolutely fantastic, and we have to do our part. So for us in Anglo, it was a relatively simple decision. The park obviously has a lot of interested onlookers. It's something that's public without a doubt, but it wasn't the public pressure by any means. It was working with the people establishing the park and saying, how can we contribute? And this is what we came up with, which I think at the end of the day everyone can be absolutely happy with.
¿Cuál es, a tu juicio, la gran tendencia a futuro para la minería a nivel global y particularmente acá en Chile?
I think the future's smart. I think it's a lot more technology driven, a lot more digital. We have I guess you could say our driving force in Anglo American is future smart. And with everything we're doing, we're looking at a very different industry, a much smarter industry, an industry that's less impactful and that's sustainable. It really means that what we will see in the future, my opinion, is that we will continue with developing things like the IROC. We will continue moving people out of harm's way to evolve. What we'll end up doing is striking a better balance between work and life. And I think the technology and innovation piece is critical for that. It's critical for society. It really does move us as a society, as a whole. And I think mining in the future will absolutely require a different set of skills, a different mindset. We'll operate differently. Equipment will be different. It's going to be fascinating to watch. The future's bright in so many different ways, but it will be very different to what we've seen for the last 100 years.
Aaron, lo último que quiero preguntar tiene que ver con este programa. Comunidad Cobre se reúne mes a mes, dándole la oportunidad a la gente de hacer preguntas, a veces preguntas incómodas, pero en el marco de una conversación de respeto, para conocer desde diversas perspectivas el trabajo que hacen ustedes. Es algo que no es habitual en las industrias en general, ni siquiera solo en la minería, de que las grandes compañías estén dispuestas a tender un puente de comunicación. ¿Por qué lo hacen? ¿Por qué es relevante para ustedes poder hacer experiencias como esta, de abrir la conversación con la comunidad?
For me, it's such an important conversation. How does mining really thrive in the future? It's through partnerships. It's through relationships. It's through understanding what's our role, what do people expect of us, what does society expect of us, and what are the things we need to be conscious of as we navigate our traditional business, extracting resources, but how do we do it in such a way that provides opportunities yet meets the challenges that come with it? So as we sort of touched on earlier, we need to be open, we need to be honest, we need to be transparent, but more important than that, we need to listen. And I think if we can listen as an industry, which is easier said than done, I acknowledge that absolutely, but giving people a voice and understanding what's important is important to us. That's how we learn, that's how we grow, and that's how ultimately we become the business that everyone has absolute confidence in. Everyone looks at us, knows that our endeavours are going to be with the right intentions, and that people can trust that. If we can do that, and I think this channel is a fantastic example of that. Sometimes we get questions that aren't comfortable. Sometimes we get questions that probably we don't want to hear, but it gives us an opportunity to know what's important, to dissect that, digest it, and then do something about it.
Muchísimas gracias, Aaron, por permitirnos conversar contigo acá en tu casa en Anglo American.
Thanks for having the time to talk to me. Again, we want to showcase everything. We have a very open mantra. So thank you for coming. Hopefully it's been everything you expected and more.